Yeah. Right, I read it over the Proverbs chapter 19 verse 16. It says, he that keepeth the commandment keepeth his own soul, but he that despiseth his ways shall die. Right, so what I'm basically saying, hey, it's not no rocket science. It's either you have the truth or you don't. Now what the scripture says, he will have mercy, and whom he will have mercy. You understand? And that he exalts some and he brings some low. You understand? I believe that is in, try my best to find it. Yeah, my praise and say about Shimon Shaibu. It's Sirach chapter 33, verse 11. It said, much knowledge the Lord had divided them and made their ways diverse. Some of them hath he blessed and exalted, and some of them hath he sanctified, and he set near himself. But some of them hath he cursed, and brought low, and turned out of their places. As the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it at his pleasure, so man is in the hand of him that made him, to render them as liketh him best. Good is set against evil, and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the ungodly. So look upon the works of the Most High, and they are two and two, one against another. So it's showing here that the Lord is the one. The Lord is the one that basically molding these two diverse types of men, the good man and the bad man, the righteous and the unrighteous. The Lord is the one that molded them. He uplifted some, he abased some, he exalted some, he go give some life, he will give some death. So he gave the truth unto some, and he left the rest of them in darkness. Scripture says, what I pray for them, I pray not for the world. You understand? Only those that thou hast given me. So they are those that the Lord had given to Yahushua. And the ones that were given to him were the elect. Now the scripture says they are not all Israel, which are of Israel. Because there are a lot of Israelites. So there are a lot of Israelites that are not going to receive salvation. Right? Only 1/3 shall be delivered, but 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die. You understand? So the majority of our people are going to be put to death, and only a small remnant shall be saved. Right? And then when the disciples, Salakia for me not being able to find it. But when the disciples, they came to Yahushua and they asked him, why do you speak? Why he speaks so freely among them? But he speaks to the people in parables. And he said, for you is to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it was not given to know. Right, so the majority of Israel, it was not given to them to know this truth. That is why they are wicked. Now, the Lord still commands us to go and reprove them of their wickedness. So that is why we still have to go out and tell them of the things that they're doing wrong. And not only reprove them, but firstly reproving ourselves. Because as the scripture say, and I'll bring it out in Romans 2. And that is why a lot of these Christians and pastors have no understanding of the Bible, because they want to cast the mote and the beams out of someone else's eye without first checking their own eyes. In the book of Romans chapter 2 verse 19 it says, and are confident that thou thyself art a guide of the blind, a light of them which are in darkness. Right? Because that is what these teachers were set up to be. That is what teacher is. A teacher is light, somebody that shines the way. See, an instructor of the foolish, a teacher of babes, which has the form of knowledge and of the truth in the law. Thou therefore which teachest another, teachest thou thyself? Thou that preachest a man should not steal, dost thou steal? Thou that sayest a man should not commit adultery, dost thou commit adultery? Thou that abhorrest idols, dost thou commit sacrilege? Thou that makest thy boast of the law, through breaking the law, dishonorest thou Yahweh? Right, so basically, it is our duty to teach this word firstly to ourselves. Right? Now the scripture is, it talk about self-mastery, mastering the self. It say work out your own salvation in fear and trembling. Your own salvation. So you must first teach yourself and get yourself right. Right? So if you want to teach somebody about not committing adultery, you must first make sure that you yourself are not committing adultery. If you want to teach somebody about keeping the Sabbath, then you yourself must first understand the Sabbath and keep it before going to tell anybody else. And that is why Yahushai, the prostitute, when he was going to stone her to death, he said, he that is without sin cast the first stone. And that's why he said, judge none and you will not be judged. It's not necessarily saying you can't cast judgment, you can't tell people anything. Because Yahushai going to judge the earth, and he's the rightful judge. What the Lord is basically trying to prove and speak is that the scribes and the Pharisees and the people that were only chastising, they themselves didn't even keep one law. So if you do your research, the scribes and the Pharisees, they were masters of the law. Masters, they knew the law front and back. But did they keep the law? No. And even if they keep some of the laws, did they keep it because they believed and had faith in the Lord? No. They kept it to be seen of men. That's why when they was fasting, the Lord said, don't fast, don't be as the hypocrites. And when you pray, don't be like the scribes that go out into the streets and put on the best of apparel and try to look the part to pray. And they pray loud in the streets. And then they fast and they go around telling everybody that they're fasting so that they could be seen of men. But the scripture says, such it only fear the eyes of men, and know it not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of the wicked. Right? So they were people pleasers. That's why the Lord wasn't dealing with them, even if they knew the law. The Lord is only dealing with the faithful. He's only dealing with those that want to obtain mercy. That's why he has them there. If we're ready to stone this prostitute, he that is without sin cast that first blow, that first stone, and none of them was able to, because they wasn't checking themselves first. You understand? They wasn't making sure that they were in good tidings first. You understand? They weren't making sure that their house, their church, which is their body, was in order first. But they're going to try to settle somebody else's house. You know? Now what the scripture, trying to get in the book of Galatians. Now what the scripture says this. I believe it's Galatians 3. Galatians chapter 2 verse 16 it says, knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law, but by the faith of Yahushua Mashiach. Because if you sure want to be justified by the law, then you're basically asking for death. You would like to die, because you can't keep the laws perfectly. The wages of sin is death. If you break one, you break all. So if you really want to be justified by works, and the law, then be prepared to die. But we are not seeking to be justified by the law. We want to be justified by Yahushai, because we know that only through Yahushai will we be forgiven and will we receive mercy. It says, but by the faith of Yahushai Mashiach, even we have believed in Yahushai, that we might be justified by the faith of the Mashiach, and not by the works of the law. For by the works of the law shall no flesh be justified. Now it didn't say be judged, because the Lord is coming to judge us according to the works of the law, according to our faith and according to our works. You understand? According to how we live in these mortal bodies. But those that are going to be justified by the law, You understand? So okay, those are not going to be justified and receive salvation. They are not going to inherit salvation by keeping the laws. They are going to inherit salvation because of the faith that they had and because